Welcome to the Lair, a place where interesting people you may know tell you things you didn't. So grab a chair and your favorite vice and get comfortable. There are no rules in the Lair, but there is Laura Babcock. You know her from TV, and she is not into media monogamy. Let's find out who else is in the Lair. Welcome to the Lair, a place where interesting people you may know tell you things you didn't. So grab a chair and your favorite vice and get comfortable. There are no rules in the Lair, but there is Laura Babcock. You know her from TV, and she is not into media monogamy. Let's find out who else is in the Lair.
I should tell you, you're in the Lair here with Laura Babcock, Jason Farr, councillor, broadcaster. So it's a compliment when you say you like the loose start to the show.
I do.
Because that's kind of, it's part of the hook we came up with.
It's a great hook.
Well, we want people to feel like they're in a conversation,
yeah.
Right? Because they really are. We've been sitting here for a couple hours chatting, had a couple glasses of wine. There's lots of people here in the Lair tonight. And when we do our interviews with our guests, there's no agenda. It's just a chat. We think that people have great conversations. People are really interesting. I admire people who are in the arena. Who are
You've
actually
had some
out there
interesting
slugging.
people so far.
We have. We had Marie Butriani in. We're gonna. She came in and she had a nice holiday. Had a very candid chat with us about the election.
So she was relaxed, and I'm like a ball of energy right now. I am tense.
Why are you so ramped?
I am tense. Well, we can't. Another one of those 9:30 to 6 marathons. Actually, we praised Councillor Johnson, who I guess she's been chairing all through June, and all of these general issue committee meetings, formerly committee of the whole meetings, like pretty much double what we've seen since the start of council. They've just been jammed into June. Yeah. I guess so we could have a nice relaxed summer.
Yeah, yeah.
But they just seem non-stop every second day.
Pan Am comes up that drags you back in.
Don't bring that up, Laura.
So she's done a great job, and there were some fun bets, non-monetary bets, going around before, like at 9, quarter to 9, quarter after 9 in the morning, how late's this one going to go? And everybody was hovering around 7:38, so she got us out of there at 6, and we were bowing to our chair. Johnson's done a great job.
She's a newbie.
She is a newbie, but she looks like a wily old veteran.
Really?
Wily
young veteran.
With the job she's done as deputy mayor.
There are no rules in the Lair, but insulting a woman's age would be. Yeah, that's one of those universal rules you don't break, Jay.
I'm going to assume she has the social media savvy to be tuned in right now. So hi, Brenda.
So Jay, council, is it everything you dreamed it would be, or are these 9-hour meetings soul crushing as they appear?
Well, I'll tell you, I was never a meeting guy.
So this must be tough.
Well, now I am a meeting guy.
Really?
But it is still tough, and it's not just tough for me. It's got to be tough for every one of them.
So why are you a meeting guy now?
Well, because I have no choice.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to embrace the identity of it.
Well, I might not have been a meeting guy before because I didn't have, in many of the meetings in the past, as you know, I don't want to call myself a subordinate, but I was certainly never in charge. I was the talent, right?
Yeah.
I was the guy.
You weren't the big producer like Mike.
Right, the producer would give me the ideas, and often we'd brainstorm and that kind of thing, but never to the extent where there was.
And you and I had a terrible time way back years ago.
Can we tell that story?
Yeah,
at some
sure,
point?
for sure.
That
Tell
was
it now.
classic.
It was brutal.
Yeah, we were at a North End neighborhood meeting, and Laura destroyed the mojo.
No, what happened was I was a sub-producer for a producer who wanted me to pass messages to you at the end of every show.
Yeah, and you should have been in charge. See, this is a perfect example. And you weren't, and we say her name? I guess we better not.
No.
Wasn't there a lawsuit at one
I think
point?
there was, many. Just call her Crazy Bitch, and everybody who was there during those years knew her. Yeah.
I'll let you do that.
Hey, is that fair, producer?
Oh,
you were there
Laura.
at the time?
So now Laura comes
She was
in.
just not a nice lady.
No, she was crazy
But
bitch,
you
certifiable.
You knew then, and you know now, and your years at CBC and all the broadcasting you've done and all the work you do to this day, that you never interrupt a host and offer suggestions, good or bad, or tweak in any capacity during the show itself,
Absolutely
during
not.
the breaks.
And
your
break,
boss kept sending you in.
Yeah.
What's it, like literally live show too, wasn't it? Daytime.
Yeah, it was live. It was a live hour
So
show.
so literally, what's the matter with your eyes? They look awful baggy.
Yeah,
You're halfway through a show and your self-esteem is just shot to
It was
hell.
like if you could-
and
if you-
Laura was always the messenger.
It was
And-
Chinese water torture a la television. That's what it was. It was like find every way
Yes,
to
it was.
destroy Jay's confidence
So,
because
Jay, how did
you
you
know
feel
why?
about Laura then?
Because
I didn't. We didn't.
Well, we
I
didn't like
didn't.
each
I
other.
didn't. Yeah.
We didn't
Well,
like
yeah. I don't want to say it. Well, maybe I didn't like you, but if I didn't like
like
you,
the water torture,
it
you
wouldn't
had
be fair to
baggy
you.
eyes?
But we got along soon
Okay.
after that. We
Do
were
you know what?
neighbors. Remember?
And we also made up at a Cable 14 party. You were
Oh,
so-
did
you
we?
were, you were giving away he was giving away beer behind a hay bale, and we're like,
okay.
yeah, you know, you were a bitch on wheels, and I said yes, I was representing, and
Yeah.
I shouldn't have, and I could have been, I don't know what I could have done, but something different.
Yeah.
It was, you know what I mean. I was
Yeah.
kind of caught, but it doesn't excuse my behavior. I was
No,
soul
you
crushing
did
to
what
you.
you were supposed to do. You did what probably anybody would do.
Yeah, but you don't, following orders doesn't cut it for me.
Right, and I think we communicated, albeit there might have been some angst between the two of us from time to time. In those days, in those early days, we at least were talking to one another. We worked it out. You said to me, I distinctly remember at one occasion, and it just didn't go on for more than a couple of months, I don't think, but
so nice.
at one occasion you said, look, I'm just the messenger. You didn't use the cliche, but you basically had told me that and I really, until you had said that to me early on, I had no idea you were just the messenger. I just thought you were first class.
Yeah, I was.
And then I started to come, yeah.
I was acting like Mike. What the?
But you know, we our friendship and our relationship has grown, and I think
Well, cheers,
I'm
dude.
among
Cheers.
many male broadcasters in this city that really look at your career and your continued effort in media as a real inspiration for any other young ladies out there, because you showed a lot of them how it's done, and you continue to do
That's the
that.
nicest thing anyone's ever said to me,
Hear,
Jay.
hear.
No, you have. You're good. When you went to the CBC, look at I got goosebumps.
You're getting goosebumps.
When you
all
went to
over
the
here.
CBC, I secretly
We're
thought,
live,
wow,
please, Mike.
wow.
That's, you know what, that's really nice of you to say.
And then you went to the CBC Route Windsor way, as I
I
recall.
did.
And then you got in a car accident.
That's correct.
And then you came home.
Yeah, I came
Imagine
home
if you didn't have the car accident.
You know what?
What would happen if you didn't have
I'd
that
be
car
in
accident?
Toronto anchoring some show and not having half the fun I am now.
You're better than Heather Hiscox. You probably would be in Toronto.
Well, thank you. In Detroit. It's just good manners.
So Richard, here's something unbecoming of a ward counselor that I did at the air show over the weekend. You'll maybe appreciate this. I went with my father-in-law. We don't spend a lot of quality time together. We're both very busy. He's retired and he likes to hop from yard sale to yard sale, and of course I'm busy with Ward 2. But we did go to the air show together, and we turned around with about a half hour to go and saw a lineup of easily, and I'm not exaggerating, over 2,000 people to get on what looked like about 6 buses to take you from the airstrip back to the warplane. So my father-in-law says, just come with me, we'll go over the rope. So we go over the rope, which takes you directly across another airstrip to the cargo warehouses. And he starts looking around, and I go, stop looking around, walk with purpose. What are you talking about? Look straight ahead, and if we're doing something wrong, they'll get us. If not, you just
how you get into a bar
don't
when
look
you're
conspicuous.
underage. Yeah.
Well, once we got to the other side, we managed to get to the other side. And then we realized what we had done was probably not appropriate, and we should have got in line behind the 2,200. But we got through. The guy was really nice, and you know, this
You're not suggesting
my,
you exerted counselor privilege.
I did not
right,
do
Jay?
that at any time. I
So
didn't.
if someone had caught you. You
In
would have
fact-
said, do you know who I am? I'm a city councillor. You went to pull the Mitchell.
Jay said it was okay because the next day we let like 5,000 people do the same thing.
You see? Because the buses were, yeah, okay.
It wasn't
Now,
working. It wasn't working.
no, the system wasn't working. No. But still a great air show, and I know it'll just get better.
long as you don't pull the
It was great to see that many people return.
Yeah, it's true. It was great. Good job.
Absolutely.
Bringing it back. So, the Mitchell comment I made was, of course, for people who aren't from Hamilton who listen to this podcast, and we do have people from the U.S. and others. One of the counselors was pulled over and allegedly said to the cop, "Do you know who I am? I'm on council." Tried to get out of it. So, you know, I made the crack about as long as you don't pull a Mitchell, you tried to cross the airfield. You've since apologized to the CEO of the airport who's
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
He's
I thought he'd
forgiven
get a
you.
kick out of it.
Yeah, he's forgiven you. Apparently, it's not a big deal. But how restrained, and this is my sloppy segue, how restrained do you feel as a counselor from sort of, as we talked earlier, the broadcaster guy, the talent guy, the guy who, for those who don't know you, although I'm sure most people do, you're the guy. You're
How-
the well-loved, fun-loving, fun guy.
Right.
Did you
What's
find
the
on council?
question?
What did you find on council that you've got to kind of restrain yourself? You got to become more of a meeting guy.
I
more
should.
Of a suit guy.
I should more often.
Really?
I cracked wise. Probably it had, and I'll be totally honest with you. It had a lot to do with nerves, I'm sure. It was a symptom of my own insecurities, perhaps, as a new councillor, that I actually cracked wise way more than I should have. And I felt, without having to be told, no one said otherwise. In fact, some of the senior managers, I think, were quite enjoying the zingers here and there. But one day, I remember about a month and a half in, during a GIC, I think it was, or maybe a planning meeting, all it took was to throw one out there and have the crickets and have no one laugh. And then I started to question the appropriateness, and I'm glad that happened because there's a time and a place, quite
I wasn't
obviously.
even alluding to that.
Now I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, no.
I thought I didn't understand it.
Yeah, and you should take media training. Rule number 1, if you don't know the question, don't answer. 'Cause you just
There's
gave-
another area I need to work on.
You just gave me a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
No.
right.
No, what I was getting at was that on the election night, we went out to celebrate your electoral victory. And one of the comments I remember saying to you in my champagne-induced haze was, when you become a councillor, are you going to be able to sort of stay the guy, or are you going to get sucked into this sort of bureaucratic vortex? And those weren't my exact words at the time, but the same intent. And I'm just wondering, it's been a number of months, and I've seen you achieve a number of, I think, remarkable things on council. Your support of the merchants at the market and other things that you've been a part of. I hadn't even known about the Zinger thing until you brought it up now. But do you feel as though you've changed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always hated change too. That's the weird thing. And when you do the same job, broadcast, telecast, for 20 some odd years, well, since I was a teen.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable, and I think quite healthy, all things considered. It's still an adjustment, but I'm definitely way more responsible, I will admit now. You have to be by that night in your champagne-induced haze.
Thanks to Chris Eklund, who was buying rounds for us. He wasn't drinking it, but he was buying it for all of us.
Was he?
He was,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that came out of the budget.
No, it came out of Chris Eklund's generosity.
See,
Chris
still
is
with the
great.
zingers.
You know, Chris is ideal to drink with because, hi Lorna, I didn't see you arrive. Hi, how are you? Because Chris doesn't drink, but he'll buy for anybody because he's just that generous guy.
Yes, he is.
Anyway,
very.
so he was buying rounds of champagne. Yes.
Okay, so I got that very night I got home. Actually, there was some of the younger kids that helped work on the campaign that wanted to go after hours. And I thought, boy, I can't do this anymore. Right away, I can't do this. And I got home, and there was the sense of responsibility struck me then and stayed with me that, this is a very, very significant, very, very important job where you have to, the whole, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You need to listen, particularly early, twice as much as you talk, and that there's over 500,000 people riding on my decisions, and it's very, 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 very important. And
Did you crank call Matt Jelly?
I did not crank call Matt Jelly. Don't start that rumor.
Was that a thing?
Oh, him and Matt? Oh my God.
I like Matt
Do you
Jelly
know,
a
when
lot.
Matt was in the Lair, Matt and I had a great chat. We talked about his war with PJ Mercanti over Pan Am, but we didn't actually talk about the Ward 2 race.
Oh, no?
But Matt did make a comment that he liked you better as a broadcaster.
Yeah, I'll bet. We had a coffee not long ago at Mulberry.
I think it was just because he wished, had you stayed when he might have won and been on council.
Yeah, no, he'd have been a great counselor. But we have a McCaddy, and they're like-minded in a lot of ways. Well, no. It would have been interesting,
Jelly's
actually.
half Marula, half McCaddy. He's got all the passion on the issues of McCaddy and all the bluster of Marula. Yeah, Marula, McCaddy, and Jelly would have been too much.
Yeah, Jelly's not done yet, though. I really, you got to admire the passion. He's just a kid. Well,
He's almost 30. He's turning 30
He's
this
almost
year, I
30.
think he said.
Well,
And
we're in our 40s now, so he's just a
What are you
kid.
talking about? I'm 38, dude.
Come on.
Don't
Are
drag
you
me
serious?
down that freaking train. No,
Oh, okay.
I'm 38.
Well, Cameron, how old are you? Oh, right.
Mike's in his 60s. We're not doing an age around, but no, don't drag me into the abyss quite yet, Jay.
Okay, well.
I've got a year and a half. Sorry, Richard and everyone. Okay, oops.
Yeah.
Half the Lair, most
Yeah.
of the Lair's over
Yeah,
40.
you've
My
offended a lot of
bad.
people.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Sorry, man. The lynch mob will start after. Wait till the mics go dead, and then you can lynch me.
Anyway, he's done quite a lot for a fairly young guy, and he's got a long way to go. I really have a lot of admiration, a lot of faith in the guy.
I was just going to say, do you think he'll get into politics?
I just somebody the other day said that he's destined for it. Somebody at Beasley, I actually just had met this person. And yeah, I think a lot of people, including our MP Dave Christopherson, A lot of people feel that he probably will. I mean, you never know, though. You know, when you turn 30 and you may change direction. He may get scooped up by some conglomerate. You hear a lot about those union managers that get sucked into the management.
I don't
fray.
see
How
that.
about all those hippies in the 60s that are now corporate leaders?
I don't know, Matt.
But in the 60s, they would have never told you they were going to run IBM.
Yeah, but you know, the 60s was all about love, and Matt's all about, well, he loves his community, he loves his issues, but the guy likes a good fight more than anything. So he's destined for council. Yeah. We called him, actually, when we had him in the Lair cast, I introduced him as politician in waiting, and he didn't refute it.
Yeah, maybe they were listening. That's exactly what I heard at Beasley the other day, politician in waiting.
Well, hey, there you go.
Must have been listening to
Speaking
this show.
of that, I had this question posed to me by Marie Boutriani when she was in the Lair
Is
cast.
this where we get controversial?
If you'd like.
No, go ahead. I hate to interrupt.
I can try, but when I had, it wasn't going to be, but maybe it can turn into that.
Go ahead.
When I had Marie in the Lair, although, okay, now I'm going to out you because you've allowed me to.
All right.
You know how it is in media, you open the door. So I heard a little birdie tell me that you were concerned that the Lair cast was going to be like a bit of a get-you some kind of controversial thing that I can send out a media release about.
Because you're good at that.
But that's not my intent of this Lair cast. I take the compliment, thank you.
Well, you told me that after that. After I had probably said, oh my God, the Lair with Laura.
Yeah, the Lair. No, it was
yeah.
actually the producer who ran into you at a bar one night and said, don't worry about it. What's Laura going to say?
Yeah, you know what? I probably
can I get
worried
Jay?
too much. And in fact, you know, for all my years, and especially doing the talk show stuff, and 20 years of community television, I should be the last guy to be fearful of
Me.
the
Or
microphone.
the microphone.
Or anybody, yeah.
So, you know,
but I don't know. You maybe overthink things, and also I don't want to disappoint.
But
you or anybody listening, or
yeah, but Jay, you couldn't. Like, there's nothing about you that you have done or haven't done that would be a disappointment. I don't think. I think you've been a great counselor. You're a great broadcaster. Everybody loves you. What's to worry about?
Okay, thanks.
Careful, this is legal.
I'm sorry.
I get you the whole year to that shit.
You know, that's why this is the first dramatic lull, because it came off like a segue to something worse. It really did.
Well, I was going to make a snarky remark that other than your admission that you've said things you shouldn't at council, who knew? I knew nothing.
Yeah, the zingers.
But no, there's nothing. I got nothing to catch you on. I was going to ask you a question, though.
Sure.
I asked Marie, when Marie was in the Lair, I asked her about her political future, because you have that much equity. She seems to still have the fire in her belly. I'm like, you know, you love Hamilton. Are you ever going to run for mayor? And she laughed because a previous guest that night had been Lloyd Ferguson. And I know that Lloyd was accidentally called the mayor of Hamilton at the air show, I heard, allegedly through Twitter.
Really?
So I brought that up with him, and I just segued and said, ever thought of running for mayor? So Marie was saying, do you ask every guest in the Lair if they're going to run for mayor? And I said, absolutely not. But when I'm sitting in front of somebody who I think has that kind of potential, I'm going to ask the question. There would be the segue, Jay.
Okay.
Ever on your agenda?
I would say one day at a time. You know,
That's not a no.
There's been of course not. I mean, I'm not going to tell you I aspire next term to go for it.
But 2 terms?
Possibly. I mean, what's the
Wow.
point? I don't see myself. I wouldn't want to be a ward councillor my entire life.
I love
the way
that.
I look at it is, you look at it this way. Obviously, the hit the fan with me at the radio station, which was my primary source of income. So
But
I
didn't hit
get
the
bounced
fan.
out
They
the
changed
door
their
with
format,
a
though.
dozen others.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but they changed the format.
And I never did get offended. I remember I went home and I picked the weeds, and that was late summer. And my wife was in Marineland, and my only real concern was the family, and
Sure.
what the heck am I going to tell them? Yet I had a confidence. And within a few hours, I thought, man, the municipal election's coming up, and you and others that know me well enough probably, if I hadn't said it to you directly, and I may have, and I probably did, but if I hadn't, and if you know me well enough, where I am now is what I was going to do anyway, but I was thinking around the age of 50. So it came 9 years early, and which puts me at the age of 50 where I could start thinking about doing things that I might have done at the age of 60, if any of this makes any sense to you.
Yeah, of course.
So everything's happened, but there's got to be an evolution. You've got to grow. I finally got to do the radio talk show that I dreamt about from the age of 19. So my and I, it was
that the
always
morning show
hyper
on
local. The Talk 820.
Okay, that was your dream.
Albeit the worstly the most ineffective format ever
Well,
in the
that's
history
what
of
I was- I
talk
can't believe
radio.
That was your dream, 820.
No, dream was to do talk radio.
Okay.
And,
What was
and
the
although
format?
I had talk television for so many years in
Yeah.
Hamilton with Cable 14, I always wanted to be a talk radio host, and I had an opportunity to do it. So
You got the
though I
voice
was
for it.
bounced out the door, and I understand why the format didn't work and why they went back to 1 staff instead of 12 staff,
Yeah.
at least I had an opportunity to do it. And I really thought I'd be doing it for a lot longer, but you know, things happen for a reason, I guess. I found myself, the timing was, I really didn't have a moment other than about the 3 hours laying, and I was picking weeds, waiting for my wife to get home. And Jim Poling and the Spectators, my neighbor, came driving by, and he wanted to send Dan Nolan over for the exclusive, and I said, please let me talk to my wife, have him
Yeah.
come over around 7 at night. And I said, and I just said to myself, okay, just you're speeding things up a bit. Things are happening a heck of a lot faster than you might have intended. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I had it all down in a book somewhere, and my life
Jay
is
Farr's plan for the universe.
yeah, not at all. But you know, when you just kind of think of about direction and focus in your life, everything that's happened that I wanted to happen has happened.
That's great.
And I'm just happen to be doing this municipal political stint a heck of a lot earlier than I ever anticipated. I've said that to my colleagues in a meeting format as well.
You know what, Jay? There have been other colleagues of yours who had a media background, did politics for a number of years, went back to hosting talk radio.
That's fine. Yes.
Yeah, so there's nothing
Yes,
to say.
we did.
There's nothing to preclude you from getting back to that dream if
No,
that's what
no,
you choose.
no. There's
But what
all
I
kinds of things out
But what
there.
I find interesting is that you are sitting here. Marie gave me the "it's possible." Lloyd gave me the "I'm not here to talk about that." And you, respectfully, but you know he was playing coy. But you just up and said, "Yeah, what the hell? That's the next level of this job."
yeah.
And if it comes up, if the opportunity's there,
Yeah, and if I feel that I have the ability to, I mean, we started talking about how important this job is.
yeah.
And it's extremely important. I think Mayor Bertina is doing a terrific job because
Yeah.
he's a great communicator. I'm nowhere near that point yet, so I'll also admit that. If you told me, are you going to run for mayor tomorrow, I would say absolutely not. Do I have confidence in myself that I could, grow with this job and maybe get to the point where that natural evolution, which is what I'm calling it, that's you just take steps in life no matter what you're doing. Do I have confidence that I can get to that point? Of course, yeah, you have to.
Well, and the precedent has been set because a
Okay.
former morning man radio guy has become
Yes.
mayor. So there, hey, Tara, how you doing? So there's nothing to say that you can't have a couple of terms on council and also make that leap. Bob's laid the groundwork for you.
There's anything for any of us, you know. I'm the eternal optimist.
So why is the job so important?
The
Sum
job
it up-
of mayor?
Sum it up for me. The job of councillor.
The job of counselor, because there's 500 and change out there, 1,000 people whose daily lives are affected by our decisions. And the less boneheaded decisions you could make as a collective on council, the better it is for everybody out there.
Does it blow you away when things like the market issue, the motions on council, when you came in today, because again, our audience can't see, I'm used to TV,
Yeah.
so I have to keep remembering that people can't see what's going on. You handed me 2 motions that passed today, one on HEC-FI and one on the development charges.
Two big
Yeah,
big
2
issues
huge
today.
issues. And there was a Lloyd reference to blog I wrote earlier in the year, and I think you got back to me as well. I emailed out to council where I said, in case you're missing it with the federal election, council's getting things right.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I like that. That
well,
was
you guys
good,
have
Laura.
pushed through a lot of stuff, right? You
Yeah.
dealt with area rating, you settled the Pan Am issue. It felt to me like the city council was trucking along productively under, none of us were noticing. Maybe that's the trick.
Yeah.
If we're distracted by something else to bitch about, council can actually get their work done. I'm not sure if that's the formula. But you started off this by showing these things to me. And, Jay, we've known each other for a long time. I'm not going to sit here and pretend we've been BFFs the whole time. But I was impressed by the fact that you're so invested in this council job. It's not a platform for your ego. It's, you really care about the work that you're doing. You really think it's important. And you're a great asset to the city. And I'm very proud of you.
It'll never be a platform for my ego. I'm in how many 7 months now, and
Well,
I don't
frankly,
go for it.
I
Never
don't-
have.
You're not an ego guy.
I'm not an ego guy. I'm a Northeast Ender, and I just eternal optimist, all of that stuff.
And Jay Farr, that is why people love you. Thanks for being in the Lair, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Well done.
Wow, studio audience.
Wasn't that fun? See, there's no agenda.
Chats in the Lair is a Power Group production. Visit us at powergroup.ca or laircast.com, or check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Chats in the Lair is a Power Group production. Visit us at powergroup.ca or laircast.com, or check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.